Hello everybody, it's your boy Andy from Hamster Flag, and today I'm going to be bringing you an updated 2K Warrior guide. I know it's been a little bit, but I've had to deal with some stuff IRL, and I do apologize about that. So for Season 2, I've actually reached 2K again, running that same comp with that Rogue. And in 3v3, I've actually been climbing as triple DPS, playing with that same Rogue and my Demon Hunter friend. And you know, we're making really good progress. We plan to hit 2K in that bracket before the new season comes out. So what I'm going to be going over is some talents that I'm running. I've updated that a little bit since, you know, a lot of the stuff got pruned. And I'm going to be talking about the stats that you want to, you know, sort of maintain, some of the Azurite traits, trinkets, and then we're going to be talking about the new piece of gear, essentially, which are the essences that we can apply to our Heart of Azeroth. So let's go and start with the talents. So we're going to be running Fresh Meat, Stormbolt, Sudden Death, War Paint, Rampage, Carnage, because it gives us Rampage more often and increases the damage, Blade Storm to get out of roots, snares, all that good stuff. And now we use it to also get into Ring of Peace because they removed that old trait, the old artifact trait that would give us health anytime we got CC'd or knocked back, so we'd use that for, you know, recovery. That's not the case anymore, so now with Blade Storm, get in there, cancel our Blade Storm, pummel to interrupt the cast on the monk, and, you know, just go to town. For our last option, we're still running Siegebreaker because it lines up so well with damage. We apply this, pop our cooldowns, and go crazy. I know that kind of seems kind of brief, but I've explained why we run most of these in previous videos, but I'll give a quick recap. Fresh Meat heals us more, it gives us more chances to get our Rage, which is our mastery. Stormbolt sets up CC chains, up every 30 seconds, 4-second stun, really good. Sudden Death, we run that for chances to proc our Execute, and that just makes our rotation that much more engaging and powerful. We also run War Paint so that when we do get our mastery off, which is our Enrage, we take 10% less damage. So essentially this is just, you know, rewarding us for doing our rotation, stuff that we can maintain easily and we don't really got to think about, and it's just like a nice bonus, you know. For honor talents, we're running Disarm for the most part, especially against anything that runs with a melee that can do a lot of damage, like rogues, warriors, etc. We only swap this out for Spell Reflect against something that runs with a caster, warlock, mage, etc. And this actually reflects the newer PvP trinket Maledict, but that did get a bit of a nerf, so we're trying to stay away from that now because of the new season as well. We can take Slaughterhouse in place of, you know, Disarm and Spell Reflect against something like maybe a Marksmanship Hunter and a monk, like a Mistweaver monk healer, because there's not really much that we can reflect except, you know, for trap, and that's if we can get that off. But Slaughterhouse is a good alternative to that because it helps us stay and maintain pressure on the target, i.e. the healer, and once they're under that 50% health threshold, it actually gives us Bloodthirst more frequently because it reduces the cooldown by 1 second. So it's really strong. I would encourage messing around with that when you guys get the chance, if the situation arises. For the other two, we're going to be running Battle Trance and Thirst for Battle. So with Battle Trance, after we apply 2 Raging Blows on the target, we get 3% of our maximum health back every 3 seconds for 18 seconds, as well as 5 Rage in those intervals as well. Really good for maintaining ourselves, especially because, you know, I don't run with a healer, so I can live through a lot of abuse myself. And we run Thirst for Battle because of the fact that it clears all snares on us, that does not meet roots. This is strictly for just slows, so like crippling poison, stuff like that, we can actually get that off. Paladin slow, all that good stuff. Even our own Piercing Howl, we can clear that off of ourselves if, you know, we should go against another Hero Warrior. So now let's go and just talk about stats really quick. And having at least 20% haste is crucial. You want to try to get as much haste as possible, and I like to also pair that with mastery. I tend to, you know, prioritize haste and mastery on my warrior, and it's proven to be very helpful, especially with damage and, you know, just maintaining pressure like I've mentioned. I also feel like that haste is important because of our artifact traits and how we're supposed to use our stats and that to synergize. There's no real reason why I have more critical than versatility at the moment. It's just a matter of, you know, the gear that I have has that, and that's what I'm working with. I do also have 2% leech. Versatility or crit, you can prioritize that as a third. Versatility is totally fine. It's actually really good if you think about it, because we take less damage, we deal more damage, and we heal for more. So it's that all-encompassing stat. But we do want to make sure that we're prioritizing haste and mastery at the very least, because it's going to help out with our rotation so much. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and talk about the traits. So I'm actually running 3 Unbridled Ferocities with one on my head, shoulders, and my chest piece. This is very important. You want to prioritize that. If it's available, throw that on. This particular headpiece I've gotten from the world boss. It comes up in Dark Shore. You guys should totally shoot for that, you know, roll for it and everything too. Reckless Fury, we want to have at least one of those. That just gives us extra damage on our auto attacks, which is why I was saying you want to prioritize haste. So, you know, within our rotation, after every spell and stuff like that, the auto attacks have their own separate, like, sort of cast bar, if you want to think about it like that, or intervals, and they kind of slip in between while we're doing all that stuff. So while you're doing your rotation, you're on top of the target, you're doing extra damage on top of that. It also reduces the cooldown of our burst by 0.1 second, which isn't that much, but we mainly want to get that for the additional auto attack damage. For our inner traits, we want to run Overwhelming Power if we can. I have Gut Ripper on this piece, which is totally fine, especially because it lines up with some other traits that I'm running, and my weapon, which I was really fortunate to score. So it's going to put a bleed on the target, and that bleed does more damage if the target is close to death, 30%. For our defensive traits, we want to run as many resounding protections as possible if it's available. If not, Self-Reliance is totally a good substitution for that. If not, there's also this other one where if we fear someone, they have to break a certain damage threshold in order to deal any damage afterwards. So that is also very helpful, but for the most part, try to prioritize resounding protection. For my shoulder, like I've said, I have Unbridled Ferocity, but I'm also running Simmering Rage. This is just more damage on top of my Rampage, and it just makes my Rampages hit for insane amounts. I think I average like 20k per Rampage under my burst, so you can see how that can equate to a lot of pressure very fast. For the inner trait, I'm actually running Elemental Whirl. There's no real preference for that. This is kind of just like the best option in that piece of gear necessarily. It's kind of like a roll of bones or Magar Orc racial, if you think about it in that sense. All the stats are pretty helpful for Fury, so I mean, you know, it's no harm, no foul. When you do get that extra haste or mastery though, you do feel more damage coming out of your character. And like I said, Unbridled Ferocity, extra damage on Rampage, but it also has a chance to give us Burst, which would extend the period of Recklessness if we were to activate it by that set amount. And it has a chance to just like chain proc, so you can essentially probably get your Recklessness for 30 seconds if you're lucky. And that's happened to me, not for 30 seconds, but for about 24 seconds. That's pretty nutty if you think about it out of the way. And like I said, for this piece, I'm running under Unbridled Ferocity as well. It also has Cold Steel, Hot Blood, Overwhelming Power, Resounding Protection. This one's an all-encompassing kind of like what you want in a piece. You could interchange Reckless Flurry for the Cold Steel, Hot Blood. I like keeping that just because it puts another dot on the target, so more pressure, more damage, and it also heals me for more, which is crucial for coming back and self-sustain, especially when you get the extra 20% healing from your bloodthirsts and stuff when that goes off. Like I said, I do have an extra bleed just because of my weapon. This is the weapon for King's Rest. If you guys can get it, I promise you it does a lot of damage and it helps so much maintaining pressure and everything. And let's go ahead and just talk about the trinkets really fast. So I was running Maledict, but because of the fact that it's gotten heavily nerfed, I'm actually running the new trinket that you can get out here in Mechagon, and it's pretty solid. I mean, you get to choose what goes into it, and so far I have the standard ones that they give you, the versatility, haste, and the haste proc chance. Those are the first two that you actually get from just going in here doing the intro to the zone. Once you get the trinket unlocked and stuff like that, just go ahead and set that in. It's doing a lot of work. For the blue trait inside of it, I mean, you could really put whatever you want. I haven't really seen all the options out there, but so far this is working out for me pretty well. As for the other trinket, we're gonna go ahead and try to run Safeguard. I really recommend running Safeguard because it gets you out of a lot of bad spots. It also gives you that safety net so that if you are like maybe half health and you gotta sit that kidney, this can actually save you, and you wouldn't have to waste, you know, precious time when you can use the enraged regeneration healing instead of just damage mitigate. So this kind of helps us with bouncing back from tight situations. I really like this trinket. It is it's definitely a really good substitution if you haven't gotten the raid trinket. I don't really care for the raid trinket, but getting this was plenty enough for me. Like I said, I really recommend this. I am gonna find alternatives to get like a good active trinket to, you know, do some more damage, but so far, like I've said, this one's done work and it's been giving me good stats. So just the stats alone have been helping with, you know, those 1v2s, 1v3 scenarios, especially even in world. It's pretty crazy what you could do with just stats alone. But like I said, once I find a good active, I'll toss that out there. Let's go ahead and just move on to the new thing that's in the expansion as of patch 8.2, and that's the essences for our neck piece. Now the way that this works is kind of tricky if you're not too used to it, but I believe 100% the best essence that we can have as Fury Warriors in PvP is going to be the Memory of Lucid Dreams essence. Now it has the active ability every 2 minutes we can use this, and it gives us 100% rage regeneration for 12 seconds. Now there's different ranks for this, and at rank 4, in addition to having that rage regeneration, or rage generation, I'm sorry, we also get leech, which makes our self-sustain that much more insane. And we can choose to have a minor proc or a minor trait in it at artifact level 55, and that's going to be this passive one that you see right here, where our abilities have a chance to refund 50% of the rage we spent. So when we are doing our rampage dump, we have a chance to get that portion of that rage back, and it also heals us. So all in all, this is just an insane essence for us. At least in PvP, this is going to be one of the best ones you can get. There is a PvP one that we can get right here, Conflict of Battle, and I'm holding my verdict on this because I want to test it first before I tell you guys whether or not it's any good. I want to know if this lets us have Battle Trance as like just a passive ability now, because if we can mess with those other options. For example, if this is already baseline for us because of that trait, then we can run Spell Reflect, or we can even run Slaughterhouse. There's a number of things we can run, and if it does work like that, that's way stronger than I thought it'd be, and it probably gives some of the other essences a run for their money, depending on, you know, how we can strategically use that. But for the most part, you want to stick with Memory of Lucid Dreams. The raid one, this one right here, Condensed Life Force, this one's actually supposedly the one that sims the highest in terms of damage and stuff. But again, just because of the fact that I like to stress, if we just dump everything into our rotation to make that the primary source of our damage, we get so much more out of it with this class. Fury Warrior is very much a straightforward self-heal, like weird damage class. There's so much healing available for this that it's almost a mistake not to capitalize on small things like that, especially because rage generation is insane already. So just machine gun rampaging someone down and getting healing for that, more damage, more pressure, and all that good stuff, I see no reason why not to do that. The only other one that I can say might be kind of cool to sort of mess with might be the the one that we can get from Battlegrounds, but even then I kind of feel like that is more tailored towards PvE, if that makes sense. So with all that being said, I just wanted to say, you know, thank you for watching this. I'm gonna let a couple clips roll now so you guys can kind of see some of these practices in action. And in the future, I plan on making a couple more videos. Like if you guys want 10 likes, I mean, on this video, I can make either a video going over what comps you should run as a Fury, especially if you want to run double DPS, or even in threes, you know, if you want to run triple, or, you know, just what comps to run as a Fury Warrior. 10 likes, I'll drop that video. If you guys want more of an in-depth sort of like essence guide on which ones you should shoot for at certain ranks and stuff like that, I could do that as well. But just let me know in the comments below. I enjoy the feedback and everything, and you guys have always been wonderful. So I'm not going to bug you anymore. I'm going to let these clips just roll, and you guys have a good day. This has been your boy Andy from Hamster.
Oh, he died?
Yeah.
Hey, man.
Got you going.
Kill him. Get him, boys. Get him, boys. You, brother. Okay, there, boys.
A little dark
here. Get on them, boys. They can't stop us, brothers.
He fucking killed me. Shit. Oh, I lost my game. Oh, this is You got 4 of money? You got 4 of money? I don't know if he has a big fucking apocalypse yet. Is it an abomination? If you could fear off the abominations, you mitigate a ton of his damage.
You don't need
nice.
shit.
Nice.
I'm gonna just fucking smack him, bro.